Yo, what up, everyone? It's Chris. Just taking a walk, appreciating this beautiful day. Well, it's a horrible day, but I'm alive. I got air in my lungs, so it's a gift from God nonetheless. So, there's a YouTuber named Paulogia. I could be pronouncing it wrong, but I've seen a few of his videos. I've seen videos where he's commenting on things that Christian apologists are saying, and basically trying to counter everything they say. So it made me wonder, before I go any further, I want to ask Mr. Apologia, what would it take to make you believe? Come on, give me the fair info. What do I need to give you? What do I need to tell you? What do I need to say that could make you go, ooh, he's right. There is a God. Now, I could easily tell you about how science textbooks should be written in pencil. They change their mind quite often. Think about it. 40 years ago, they were saying Sodom and Gomorrah is not real. Sodom and Gomorrah is fake. It's a Christian myth, if you will. Just a couple years ago, they found Sodom and Gomorrah. Now they go, ooh, crap. There's another group of people. I can't remember their names. The Philistines, was it? It was Philistines that 40 years ago, scientists were saying it's a myth. There is no Philistines. Philistines don't exist. Then they found Philistine artifacts. Ooh. So, science, every other day, every time they come up with a Christian discovery, I shouldn't say Christian because we're talking Old Testament, a biblical discovery, a Taurish discovery? Taurish? No, let's just say biblical. A biblical discovery got them going, oh. So my question to you, Mr. Apologia, is simple. What would it take? What do I gotta say? I'll do my research. I'll come back with a better video. I'll come back with whatever proof you need. Think about it this way. This is how I like to look at it. There's different dates of when people, how long after the resurrection of Christ, pen to paper, or feather with ink on it to parchment. Either way, there's different dates of when they say how long after the resurrection the New Testament started to be written. There's different dates. Some people say 20 years after. Some say 40. Let's just go with the long one. Let's go 40. Mr. Apologia, let's say you were to drop dead right now. Ploop, you're gone. Or in your thinking, you cease to exist anymore. Mr. Apologia is gone. Let's say 40 years from then, I decide to write a book on the life of Mr. Apologia. I decide to write a book on you. You're telling me 40 years, there's not going to be one person living to counteract all my information? 40 years later, there's not going to be one person around who's going to be able to go, yeah, no, I knew him. Nah, that's not true. It just killed my whole book. My book is gone. It's worthless now. It's toilet paper. So, and let's even go with the other thought. There's another atheistic point of view that Jesus never existed. He was a myth. Again, if you notice, none of the historians, Tacitus, any of the historians who spoke and wrote about Jesus, yeah, they spoke later, but none of them ever questioned his life. None of them ever said he was a myth. They said the disciples stole the body, which I'll give you, in theory, is possible. It's possible. I'll tell you what, though, they got a lot of guts after that, though. Before that, they were gone. They were hidden. You couldn't find them with a fine-tooth comb. But Maybe they grew some guts at one point and stole the body. Give you that one. Okay? No one ever questioned his existence. No one ever questioned whether he lived back then, because back then, very close to the source material, still too much evidence you could find. At that point, you could easily find the crucifixion site. Now it's a little, they debate it. Is this it? Is that it? Is there another spot? Back then, it would have been much easier to find. The cross may have still been up. It would have been much easier back then to find the tomb that Jesus was buried in. Probably still had the shroud in there. It would have been much easier to find these things, so they didn't even try to question whether or not he existed. Now, 2,000 years later, sure, you can question it. But how long for you would it have taken legend to develop? I don't believe 40 years is long enough. I'm giving you, again, it could have been more recent. It could have been 20 years. It could have been 10 years. But I'm giving you the longest stretch, 40 years, because there still would have been people living to counteract it. There still would have been people living to say, no, I knew Jesus. He didn't do none of that. Or, I lived in that area. There was never a man named Jesus in that area. There would have been ways and means. Sorry, I'm fat. I lose breath easy. What do you want? But, Mr. Paulogia, that's my question to you. What would it take to make you believe? What would it take to make you go, ooh, I lost my faith a little too quickly. I had the same test as Job, but I failed it. And I want to beg for forgiveness, Lord. What would it take? What do I got to do? Let me know.